Welcome to my first video of 2021 where we're going to eat, breathe, and sleep productivity. Just kidding. So basically, when it comes to studying and being more productive, it's all about marginal additions. So you don't really just wake up one day and know exactly how to study to get straight A's. So I just want to give you a couple of study and productivity tips that you could slowly incorporate into your lives, and just things that you need to remember that will make you 1% better every single day. These are going to be great if you're a college freshman, especially because studying for college and just being more productive in general is so much more different than high school because you have so many classes, activities, and events on campus that you have to keep in mind. So here are the timestamps for everything I'm talking about today. Also will be pinned in the comments and in the description below. And don't forget to actually click that bell while you're down there so that you don't miss any of my video uploads. So without further ado, let's get productive. I can't stress this one enough, so I have it first. You need to ask questions, and this comes into play in two areas of your life. The first being when you're studying. An example would be the Cornell note-taking method, where you consistently have questions instead of just reading text like mindlessly. Asking yourself specific questions about the text and the things you need to remember is going to actually stimulate your brain and help you retain more information during the studying process. And the second is just asking all of the questions you have during lectures to either your professor or your TA. Asking questions and getting to know your professors and your TA could seriously be the difference between a B+ and an A-. A, because they know who you are and they know that you're really trying to understand the information in a class of dozens or sometimes even hundreds of people. And B, because I promise you, even if you have crazy imposter syndrome and you think you're the only one who doesn't understand it, you are not. There are so many times where I was sitting in physics lectures and I absolutely had no idea what was going on, and I am so confident that other people didn't either. So always ask questions, go to office hours, use the Cornell note-taking system, write flashcards for yourself, just ask questions. This one is definitely one of the harder ones to follow, but don't just transpose everything you hear mindlessly onto your laptop when you're in lectures or you're trying to just take notes. If possible, try to only note the most important points, or better yet, take handwritten notes, whether that's on your iPad or whether it's in a notebook. When you're just mindlessly typing everything your professor is saying or everything that's in the textbook, you're just regurgitating, not processing. There was a study at Carnegie Mellon that showed us that handwritten notes leads to a higher degree of information transfer compared to just typing everything out on your computer. When you're mindful about the notes you take, you can actually process what's happening rather than typing at 100 words per minute. In this increasingly technological era, it's very, very easy for us to type. Whether you're averaging about 60 words per minute or even 120 words per minute, the speeds are getting faster and faster. I think it suffices to say that you're not actually processing when you're writing 120 words per minute. You just don't have the time to process everything you're writing out. Here's an organizational tip. So you need to honestly organize your life, and here are 3 ways you could do that. You could use OneNote, Notion, or Trello. There's so much happening in college, from all of those fun seminars and conferences to actual classwork and extracurriculars. And you need to keep everything organized to know when the events are, when your classes are, when office hours for those classes are, and when things are due. A great way to virtually do that, if you don't want to write everything out in different notebooks, is through OneNote or Notion. I used OneNote all throughout college, where I separated all of my notes, my to-do list, classes, and everything on separate pages. Organizing and planning your life is completely different from taking notes for lectures, so you want to separate all of that out accordingly. Don't write to-dos and calendar events in the middle of a random page where you're writing all of your math lecture notes. You're never going to remember everything, and all of this has to be organized separately. I definitely recommend using a calendar to schedule all of your events and just separate all of your to-dos from your lecture and class notes. So I am definitely guilty of doing this, but cramming is not the way to actually retain information. A great way not to cram and to actually learn qualitative information, especially when it comes to biology, history, English literature, things that you really do have to retain and analyze for exams, is through spaced repetition. This is definitely vital for most prose-based classes, so that over time your retention curve actually increases rather than plateauing and just losing all of the retained information. Here's a way you could potentially structure it out on Google Calendar. You just want to make sure you give yourself a couple days before you revise the information very quickly, and a great way to revise information rather than just reading it over again or rereading your notes, you can ask yourself questions that pertain to the notes you took. That leads to active brain stimulation, and you will retain information if you thoroughly question yourself on the information rather than just trying to memorize it. This last tip is going to be so vital if you're in high school or college, but I cannot emphasize enough the importance of study groups. This will absolutely change your life for problem set based classes like physics or math. Thoroughly questioning yourself and asking other people questions, not copying, but asking them questions, will really help you feel like you're not stuck and you're actively trying to learn something that you don't understand. I just want to give you guys a really important reminder. I'm sure you've heard this several times, but I cannot stress this point because you truly won't learn if you just copy from others. You will never learn the content if you just look at SparkNotes or you go on Chegg. Take an hour if you need to. If there's any math problem you can't solve, take the time to genuinely think through it, even if you think it's just a basic problem. I promise you, you're gonna remember that problem for the next 5 years if you just spend the time to genuinely think through it. Copying is never the answer. Also, if you find any value in this video so far, don't forget to smash that like button and hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you can learn more with me on my YouTube channel. That's it for today. I hope you guys learned something from this video, and just incorporating even one of these tips slowly into the way you study or into the way you process information will really help you get closer and closer to all of your goals when it comes to being more productive and just studying more efficiently. College is a great place to test all of these study tips out, so good luck. I wish you all of the productivity in 2021, and I will see you guys at the next video.